Good evening. A San Antonio man convicted of killing a business owner during a robbery is set to be executed exactly 1 week from tonight. But now the community, including the victim's son, is making one last plea to spare his life. Eyewitness News reporter Sharon Ko has more.
I wouldn't have never came to death row. I wouldn't be the individual I am today.
Time is running out to save Chris Young. Next Tuesday, he's set to die by lethal injection.
Young was sentenced to death.
This morning, the Texas Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty and supporters, including his great aunt,
10 years ago,
urged to stay the execution.
If you need a sacrifice, I would trade my life any day of the week for what's inside Christopher Young.
In 2004, Young shot and killed 55-year-old Hash Patel, a store owner, during a robbery. Young was sentenced to death. His attorney says the state violated his right during jury selection. A potential juror wasn't picked because of her affiliation with the religious group that had ties to a prison ministry program. While faith leaders say Young deserves a new trial, the victim's son says Young doesn't deserve to die.
A child deserves to have their father. A family deserves to have their family member.
In a video posted on an online clemency petition, Young shares how death row saved his life. He wants to help troubled youth.
I can talk to boys, get their ear, and then take them away from it. You know, take them away from the path they're on, put them on a good path.
Supporters are urging the public to sign the petition and encourage the state to grant him mercy.
There's a chance for something good to come from all this. Him being executed doesn't allow for anything positive to come. And my father always taught us to do the right thing and help other people. And this speaks better to that than him being executed.
A person can change.
Sharon Ko, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.
Now, one footnote, the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles could grant Young clemency and reduce his sentence to a lesser penalty or reprieve or recommend a 120-day reprieve. The board will decide this Friday, and if you'd like to find out more or support Young, you can get more information at kens5.com.